By June 2025, the margin for error had vanished. Intelligence concluded that Tehran had assembled nearly every component required to become a nuclear-armed state. This visualization breaks down the exact stockpile data. At the center is a cache of 440.9 kilograms of uranium, enriched to 60%. More concerningly, inspectors found traces of material processed up to 83.7% purity, a microscopic technical leap from the 90% concentration required for weapons-grade fissile material. Alongside this highly enriched stockpile, Tehran possessed the highly complex nuclear detonator engineering necessary to ignite a uranium core, as well as the advanced ballistic missile delivery systems capable of carrying it. The convergence of these three elements meant that putting a working bomb together was no longer a question of years. The timeline was estimated to be a matter of no more than 2 months, and possibly as little as a single week. Facing this closing window to a functional weapon, the Israeli government initiated a preemptive strike, testing the absolute limits of its core survival strategy. That strategy is known as the Begin Doctrine, a policy of anticipatory self-defense, dictating that Israel will not permit any enemy to acquire weapons of mass destruction. The policy takes its name from Prime Minister Menachem Begin, who formalized it following Israel's 1981 airstrike on the Osirak nuclear reactor in Iraq. For over 4 decades, this doctrine operated on a clear mechanical premise. It relied on absolute air superiority to cleanly eliminate surface-level targets before they could become existential threats. It was a playbook perfectly suited for mid-20th century threats, and as the Iranian nuclear program accelerated in 2025, Israeli planners confidently deployed it once again. On June 13, 2025, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion. A fleet of over 200 aircraft conducted simultaneous strikes on approximately 100 military and nuclear sites across Iran. The assault was cleared by extensive intelligence operations. Operatives infiltrated Iranian territory to sabotage air defense systems and established covert drone bases just outside Tehran to compromise the regime's ability to respond. The strikes devastated key infrastructure in Natanz and Isfahan, systematically degrading the enrichment sites while eliminating high-ranking commanders within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. On the surface, the operation appeared to be a textbook execution of the long-standing doctrine, seemingly setting the nuclear program back by several years. Yet the tactical victory was a mirage. The core Iranian leadership survived, and their recovery proved immediate and highly effective. Within months, Tehran rehabilitated the partially damaged Fordow enrichment site and accelerated the construction of an entirely new complex referred to as Pickaxe Mountain. Pickaxe Mountain presented a unique challenge. Constructed deep beneath massive layers of solid rock, the facility lies beyond the maximum penetration depth of modern bunker-buster munitions. Shielded by this geology, the regime rapidly increased ballistic missile production from 1,500 to 2,500 units per month. Air power had finally met its physical limit. By embedding its most critical assets deep within subterranean bunkers, Iran neutralized Israel's primary strategic tool. The failure of the 2025 strikes to establish a permanent solution led to Operation Roaring Lion, a direct military coalition between Israel and the United States. This joint campaign achieved staggering tactical destruction, effectively decimating the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Air Force, and Navy. Iran countered by exerting global economic leverage. By closing the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran severely disrupted the global energy market, forcing American military planners to divert attention towards securing international shipping lanes. By the time a ceasefire was reached in May 2026, the contrast between tactical success and strategic reality was stark. The Iranian Central Command and its subsurface nuclear assets remained completely functional. 2 immense air campaigns confirmed the difficult truth. The era of contained, preemptive airstrikes is completely ineffective against deep subterranean engineering. The May 2026 ceasefire left the region in a tense standoff. Israel restored its immediate tactical deterrence, but the overarching nuclear threat survived intact. Israeli strategists recognized they needed a national security outcome that could endure on its own, independent of the backing of future U.S. administrations. An assessment by the Institute for National Security Studies outlined the urgent need for a complete shift away from the traditional model of containment. With airstrikes rendered obsolete by geology, Israel faced a difficult choice among three highly complex paths to eliminate the threat. The first option is total war. This requires a massive ground maneuver to physically secure and dismantle the subsurface nuclear sites. The cost of this approach would be severe, guaranteeing heavy ballistic missile retaliation directly targeting the Israeli civilian homefront. The second option is a sustained siege, a campaign of maximum economic pressure designed to deepen Iran's internal crises until the regime collapses from within. However, this leaves the nuclear project physically unrestricted, carrying the immense risk that a cornered regime might cross the threshold and test a bomb in the desert before collapsing. The final option is diplomatic. This visualization shows the proposed mechanics of a technical deal. Iran would be required to dilute its highly concentrated 60% enriched uranium stockpile, blending it down into 8 to 9 metric tons of stable 3.6% reactor-grade fuel. For this path to be viable, Israel demands two absolute conditions: the physical dismantlement of all underground enrichment infrastructure and the reinstatement of rigorous, unrestricted inspections by the International Atomic Energy Agency. While dilution is the only non-kinetic path, it relies entirely on a level of compliance and vulnerability the Iranian regime has rarely accepted. Consequently, the absolute red line moving forward is the re-enrichment of that civilian fuel back toward 90% weapons-grade capacity. The physical reality of subsurface engineering has closed the door on decades of military strategy, forcing a difficult choice between imperfect diplomacy and the devastating reality of a prolonged regional war. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. This video is intended for educational and informational purposes. Analysis is based on context and the source material provided. The content does not constitute military, political, or financial advice.
So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Redline Report for more interesting stories like this.